And when that patience broke, when that mercy was cast aside, humanity did not strike back with balance. They struck back with fury. They answered with annihilation. Across the stars, the warning spread, whispered in every port and every council chamber. Do not awaken Earth's vengeance. One strike is all it takes. The next blow is the last you will ever see. And so, the galaxy learned a truth etched in fire and blood. Humanity's patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite. The Zareth Armada descended upon the human colony of Enoch IV as though it were nothing more than a banquet table awaiting their feast. 30 ships, sleek and jagged like the talons of a hunting beast, cut through the planet's skis. Their weapons discharged in measured precision, beams that incinerated cities, detonations that split oceans, and waves of plasma that reduced farmland to glass. The colony had no fleet, no defense grid strong enough to repel such power. The humans there were farmers, teachers, engineers, and children. They had no warning before the first bombardment turned their capital into ash. High above the destruction, the Zareth commander sat in his command throne, mandibles clicking in satisfaction as screams of intercepted human transmissions filled the comms. He ordered no prisoners. He allowed no evacuation. He laughed as humanity's pleas for mercy crackled across the void. This is what comes of weakness, he hissed to his subordinates. Earthlings believed the galaxy had tamed war. They believed peace was their shield. Today, we remind them what power truly is. With one final strike, they shattered Enoch IV's orbital stations and silenced every human voice on the planet. The Zareth ships lingered long enough to carve their sigil into the planet's crust with orbital fire. A mocking brand burned into human soil. Then they departed, leaving only ruins and smoke behind. The galaxy saw this act of cruelty and nodded in grim acknowledgement. After all, the humans were young in the stars, spread thin, unprepared. No one expected them to retaliate. No one believed they could. The Feast of Mockery. News spread like wildfire through the interstellar networks. In the Zareth Dominion, feasts were held, and the conquest of Enoch IV was proclaimed as proof of their eternal supremacy. Their warlords boasted that humans were nothing more than prey species who had stumbled too far from their cradle. In smoky halls of power, alien diplomats chuckled at the footage of Earth's ambassadors, their faces pale with grief as they received the report. They will protest, the galaxy's elites muttered, but they will do nothing. Their patience is endless. They are too bound by their ideals, too frightened to risk their fragile worlds. Even within human trade partners there was hesitation. Allies mourned, but they whispered doubts. Could Earth truly respond? The humans were many things, innovators, explorers, dreamers, but they were not conquerors, not warriors, not feared. The Zareth took their celebrations further. They intercepted human transmissions of mourning songs from scattered colonies and played them publicly on their channels, mocking the sorrow. "See how they weep," they sneered. "See how powerless they are. This is their true language." And across the stars, observers shook their heads. Surely the humans would absorb this tragedy, bury their dead, and return to their quiet building of ships and science. Surely they would endure the insult in silence. Surely. But they forgot one thing. Patience is not the same as weakness, and silence is not the same as forgiveness. The shattering silence. Weeks passed. Humanity said nothing. Earth's networks fell quiet, their usual chatter gone. Trade fleets withdrew. Borders that once bustled with exchange suddenly froze with an unnatural stillness. The galaxy began to sense something was wrong. Then came the first signal. A transmission burst across neutral space, a human voice speaking in tones so calm it chilled every listener. To those who struck us know this. You have slain our kin, you have mocked our grief, and so the account must be settled. The debt is blood, and we pay such debts in full. The words ended. Nothing more followed, but the effect was seismic. On every channel across every starfaring race, the message repeated. It was not a threat, it was a verdict. Observers began reporting strange sightings. Fleets that had lain dormant in Sol's orbit vanished from their stations. Shipyards that had been quiet for decades roared to life, their slipways blazing with activity. Civilian liners disappeared from traffic records, only to re-emerge as troop carriers clad in armor. On the edges of Zareth space, patrols vanished. Whole garrisons stopped responding. An eerie silence spread where once there had been arrogant boasting. And then the dreadnoughts came. They emerged from warp like leviathans of steel, vast human constructs the galaxy had only whispered about. Ships so massive their shadows eclipsed suns, their weapons arrays glowing like the anger of gods. Each vessel bore the mark of Earth, each carried fleets of destroyers and swarms of drones like storm clouds. The Zareth scrambled to respond, but by then, humanity's retribution was already in motion. The hammer falls. The first strike fell upon the Zareth border world of Karen. One moment its skies were clear, the next, a wall of human warships descended. Orbital defenses lit up, desperate to repel the intruders, but the humans did not fight as the galaxy expected. They did not duel, they did not hesitate. They annihilated. Planetary shields collapsed under kinetic strikes. Rods of tungsten accelerated to near-light velocity, tearing through defenses as though they were paper. Cities vanished in incandescent firestorms as orbital bombardments rolled across the surface. In less than 2 hours, Karen was erased from the stars. The Zareth sent their fleets, dozens of ships charging to intercept. Humanity met them head-on. Battles unfolded in silence, save for the thunder of weapons. Where Zareth ships slashed with plasma, humans replied with rail cannons that split hulls in half. Where Zareth unleashed swarms, humanity answered with drones that outmaneuvered and devoured them in coordinated precision. The humans did not retreat. They did not bargain. They pressed forward with the cold inevitability of a storm. World after world fell. Garrisons were obliterated before they could even signal for help. Zareth fleets that had terrorized colonies for centuries found themselves shattered in minutes. One admiral, desperate, tried to broadcast a plea for peace. Humanity's only response was silence, followed by the destruction of his flagship in a single strike. The galaxy watched in horror. It was not war, it was punishment. The weight of annihilation. By the third week, the Zareth dominion was collapsing. Their proud fleets were nothing but wreckage adrift in the void. Their capital world prepared defenses, believing they could endure where others had failed. Humanity's answer was merciless. The sky above the Zareth homeworld darkened as an armada of Earth's war machines appeared, blotting out the stars. Their dreadnoughts aligned in grim silence, their weapons charging with a soundless glow. For a single moment, the galaxy held its breath. Would humanity spare them? Would mercy find its way into this storm of vengeance? The answer came in fire. The bombardment lasted for hours. Orbital rings disintegrated. Planetary batteries were silenced one by one. The surface cracked beneath the relentless fury of strikes designed not to conquer but to erase. Cities turned to molten seas, forests to ash, oceans boiled into vapor. When the armada finally departed, the Zareth homeworld no longer shone in the night sky. It was a dead ember, silent and broken, a warning written in the language of annihilation. And through every channel, a final human message spread. One strike was your choice. Annihilation was our answer. Let this be the last lesson needed. Whispers in the void. Silence followed, not the silence of peace, but the silence of dread. The Zareth were gone. Entire systems that once carried their banners now floated empty, lifeless. The galaxy stared into the ruins of their empire and understood a truth too heavy to bear. Humanity's patience may be vast, but their vengeance is infinite. Whispers carried in trade stations, in council halls, in the farthest reaches of the stars. Do not provoke them. Do not strike them. Do not even dream of harming their colonies. Because humans had shown the price of arrogance. They had answered a single strike with annihilation. And the galaxy would never forget.